not supposed to know this. Tulsi Gabbard has never been one to shy away from the truth, and when she speaks, her words tend to age like prophecy. A couple of years ago, she appeared on the Joe Rogan Experience and practically exposed the inner workings of the Democratic Party. Fast forward to today, and everything she said is all unfolding right before our eyes. So today we're breaking down the interview that we've got a mini compilation at the very end that proves just how right Tulsi was. As always, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos just like this.
It's very spooky, and it's spooky how prevalent that mindset is, and how many Democrats, not even just politicians, just people that are Democrats, how many people share that position that you should silence people that you don't agree with.
The Democratic Party leaders, people like Hillary Clinton, people who've been in charge for a very long time, foment this kind of culture of fear and like, hey, if you go against us, like, you're dead. You're on the shit list. You have kind of the very loud activists and who don't represent, I think, even the majority of the Democratic Party, but the AOCs of the world, who are almost like these radical religious zealots, and they are ideologues, and whatever they choose is the battle of the day.
Yes.
If you are against them on that, forget it. You're done.
Exactly. We'll get back to the Clintons and Obamas in just a minute, but what Tulsi said about the activist clique in the Democratic Party is spot on. We're seeing it play out in real time. Just look at what happened when Chuck Schumer went off script and worked with the president to pass the spending bill. Their reaction looked more like a failed political coup than standard party drama. He had AOC, Jasmine Crockett, and their usual media allies launch a propaganda campaign to oust Schumer from his leadership position. They tried to paint him as a traitor to their movement, all because he chose to act like a grown-up and do his job, while they preferred to go into a government shutdown. Tulsi also talked about the attacks she received from the party she once called home and detailed the reasons behind them.
They got no issues attacking me on a whole host of fronts. And it started years before I ran for president. Is once the Democratic, I got elected to Congress, and they were like, oh, she's the first this, she's the first that, she's cool, she's going to be one of us, we'll put her forward, and, you know, she'll be a great new face of the Democratic Party, all these things. But then very quickly they realized, like, I mean, I've always been an independent Democrat. They found out very quickly, like, oh, okay, she's not somebody that, you know, the puppet masters can control. She's not just going to read the talking points when she goes on TV or stands on the House floor. And that's where things started to take a turn, where those who are in those positions of power said, okay, she's somebody who could expose our weaknesses, expose our insecurities, expose the hypocrisies in our arguments.
To put things into some perspective, Tulsi's presidential hopes basically dropped to zero during the 2020 Democratic presidential primaries, all thanks to Hillary Clinton. The email deleter tried to frame Tulsi as a Russian asset, saying, I'm not making any predictions, but I think they've got their eye on somebody who is currently in the Democratic primary and are grooming her to be the third-party candidate, adding, she's the favorite of the Russians. One of her aides later clarified that Clinton meant the Republicans and not the Russians. Yeah, right. It's like we can't think for ourselves and lack basic comprehension skills. These comments were made during the peak of the Russia stole the election hysteria, when the left in its media machine blamed everything on Moscow, including Trump's first win. So having been accused of any Russian ties was a political nightmare.
It's amazing when I talk to people, and it happened recently with Alex Berenson. He was like, isn't she crazy? I'm like, what's crazy? How's she crazy? Tell me how she's crazy. And then no examples. I'm like, well, why are you saying that? Like, why does someone say? He's like, yeah, you're right. Like, I don't have an example.
That's how they do it is like, hey, let's just plant a seed of doubt or suspicion so that most people, I mean, as a journalist, he's got no excuse, but most people don't have, honestly, they don't have the time. They hear one thing, they're like, shoot, like, I got kids, I got work, we got soccer games, we got this, we got that, and you want me to do research? Like, wait, what?
Right. And you want me to do research from multiple different platforms,
exactly,
so that I get an unbiased perspective, or at least an objective perspective based on multiple sources of of information.
Yep, it always starts like that. When it comes to Tulsi Gabbard, the New York Times seems to have a personal vendetta against her, or worse, they're being directed by someone to carry these attacks. You see, they've run countless hit pieces smearing Gabbard over the years, painting her as some fringe, dangerous figure, simply because she refuses to parrot the party line. One of the most absurd moments came during another episode of Joe Rogan's podcast when Barry Weiss accused Tulsi of being an Assad toady. She didn't even know what the word toady meant and couldn't back up her claims with any evidence. She was just parroting what she had heard. But that's exactly how the MSM operates. They plant little seeds of doubt, repeat them over and over until the lie becomes the accepted version of the truth, and they don't even know what they're talking about.
It's such a bizarre system that we have, and it's so easy to rig.
Yeah.
Because there's only two parties, and both parties are controlled by these gigantic special interest groups.
I'm glad you used the word rigged, because it's an important word, and usually when you use it, people aren't thinking of it in the way that we're talking about. It's what I experienced during that campaign, is that collusion between those very, very powerful entities to decide, before voters even get a chance to be exposed to different candidates to choose from, they decide, all right, here's the people that we're going to, we think will be all right. We think they're going to play the game, and we'll promote them. We'll say nice things about them, maybe throw in a tough question here or there just to not blow our cover. But these are the people that we want voters to choose from. And these other people are the ones that we're going to try to either just slide into the darkness and hope nobody notices them, or if people are noticing them, we're going to do everything that we can to smear them and undermine their credibility.
If you take what she said here and apply it to their past three presidential candidates, everything starts to make sense. In 2016, Obama favored Clinton over Biden and Bernie, so they were pushed out of the race. In 2020, it was Biden's turn to be the Neo to the Matrix, so Bernie was tossed aside again. Then came 2024, and we all saw how Kamala was installed as their candidate after the party elites decided to go against the voters and force Biden to drop out of the race in an attempt to pull a Hail Mary. It's like they give their voters the illusion of a choice, but ultimately it's the party leadership calling the shots. Now, to wrap things up, we have a quick compilation of clips from just last month where prominent Democrats are being dragged by their own party and its media apparatus for the ultimate sin of stepping out of line. And it proves everything Tulsi revealed and we discussed in this video.
He's absolutely wrong. I mean, look at the reality of the votes, right? The idea that Chuck Schumer is the only one that's got a brain in the room and the only one that can think through all of the pros and cons is absolutely ridiculous.
Joel, can we talk optics here of any presidential contender being seen in the Oval Office with Trump? Does it outweigh any claims of trying to work together for the common good?
I mean, the moment you start explaining why you were there in the Oval Office with the President of the United States, particularly this President of the United States, you're already in trouble.
I just think this is a poor strategy for Gavin Newsom. I actually did think that he was one of the leaders that would come out in terms of 2028. Now he has a Steve Bannon on the show who's saying, you're going to get to populism. There's a long road. He gives zero pushback there. He gives a platform and normalizes, in my view, an election denier and someone who is the person who is behind Project 2025.
It'll be interesting to watch how the party shifts in the coming years, but right now it's clear that these internal purges are only going to intensify. As more Democrats begin to realize that sticking too closely to the top leadership or pandering to the progressive clique could cost them their seats, we're likely going to see a growing number break away in order to survive politically. But I'd love to know your thoughts here, so let's get the conversation rolling in the comments down below. And if you want your friends to get their coverage from an independent source like us, please share the video with them. It means the world. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.